got the divorce papers, didn't you? Now be a dear and get to signing them already, will you?
You and my husband cheated on me, and that's all you have to say to me?
What else is there to say? You two are going to break up anyway. I have nothing to apologize for.
Is my husband with you right now? Please tell him to come home at once. I need to see him.
He has no intentions of doing so. Give up.
But he left us so suddenly. I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around it.
That's why I'm telling you that you're going to get divorced. That's what those papers are for. You're a slow one, aren't you? Maybe that's part of why he's leaving you.
I can't sign these divorce papers without ever talking over it face to face. It feels wrong.
There's no need for you to. Whether you like it or not, this is a done deal. It's already been settled.
I've been trying to contact him through WhatsApp, but he's been leaving me on red. Please tell him to reply to me so we can talk.
No, he's mine. I don't want him to talk to other women. The only woman that should matter in his life now is me.
Please, I'm begging you. I have a 3-year-old son who's waiting for him to come home. He's so young and doesn't understand what's going on. He's been nearly inconsolable. My husband needs to come back. Just once.
Why? So you can guilt trip him into coming back, perhaps? That's the oldest trick in the book. If you think I'm gonna fall for your trap, then you're dead wrong.
It's the truth. My son was so bright and cheerful before, but he's been regressing ever since he left. He's been crying every single night. He needs to see his father. It's not right that he can't.
That brat belongs to you, so figure that out yourself. It's your responsibility to get him to stop crying, not ours. Don't you know how to discipline a child? A few smacks will quiet them down.
That's so awful of you. You're telling me it's okay to punish my only child by hitting him? Not only that, but you've stolen his father without an ounce of remorse. Do you understand how cruel that is?
No. I don't give a damn about other people's kids. And besides, it's my life. I can do whatever I want.
I should have known. Of course, someone who cheats could never try to understand the feelings of others. It's impossible.
Oh, boo-hoo! Cry me a river, you sore loser. You can yap all you want, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm the winner here.
Until I can speak to him face to face, I will not be signing those divorce papers.
Look, it's money that's the real problem, isn't it? If it's compensation you want, we're happy to pay it so you get off our backs. I don't need that big fancy house of yours either, so you'll get to keep that. You're lucky I'm so generous.
I don't care about the money. It's my feelings that matter. Our child's feelings that matter. I've supported my husband for so long. We finally decided to have a kid together. I honestly thought we'd spend the rest of our lives together. For him to throw us away like this without even telling it to our faces is just too cruel.
Sad. In case you weren't aware, he's madly in love with me. That means you're not eligible to breathe the same air as him anymore.
Still, even if he feels he no longer wants the 3 of us to be a family anymore, I want him to at least be responsible as a parent. That's the bare minimum I'm asking for. He owes us that much.
Stop kidding yourself. By irresponsible, you're really just asking for money.
It's not just that. There's a lot we need to talk about. We need to talk about child support, who he'll live with, how we'll split up custody, visitation days. We have to discuss these important things in depth, and it has to be face to face.
He's never going to see you two again. The end.
I want to hear it from his mouth, not yours.
My answer is his answer too.
What is that even supposed to mean?
Man, you're a pain in the butt. I suppose it's too much to expect a brain-dead old hag to understand anything I'm saying. Continuing to live together with you would have been agony for my poor love. I'm happy he can finally get away from you.
And how old are you, exactly?
I'm a healthy 25-year-old in the prime of my youth. I bet those days are just a distant memory for you to reminisce over.
You're 15 years younger than him? You do realize he's 40 years old, right? He's older than me. If I'm old enough to be considered a hag in your eyes, then what does that make him?
Oh, please. When it comes to men, age is just a number. The real attraction lies in their bank accounts.
So you don't even care about him as a person. You're only after his fortune.
Aww. Why are you saying that like it's a bad thing? You approached him for the same reason as I did, didn't you? I mean, he is a bigwig CEO. In that sense, you and I are in the same boat.
No. We've been dating since our college days before he ever became a CEO. So that's obviously wrong. We'd already been dating for a while when he started his own business and became rich. Don't try to compare us because we're not the same.
Oh, so that's why he's so inexperienced with women. Thank you for making it easier for me to win him over.
I guess that means he couldn't see through you.
You're a woman too. Our value is in our looks. Considering your age, you might want to think about polishing yourself up better for your next husband, so he won't run away too. You old hag.
How awful. How can people like you exist in this world? Don't you feel ashamed of what you're doing?
Winner takes all, and you've lost here. Whatever you say means nothing to me now. You're better off talking to a wall.
My name is Millie Robinson. I used to be just a 33-year-old homemaker. But in order to support my son, I decided to also take up a part-time job. I guess technically I now have 2 jobs. After that conversation, I repeatedly asked to be given the chance to see my husband. I pleaded and begged her over and over. But in the end, nothing came of it. My simple wish wasn't granted. We went through with the divorce proceedings through the exchange of documents only. On top of receiving alimony, the house where we used to live together was now under my name. My days were busy as I juggled taking care of my young son with my part-time job. Yet in the middle of those long and busy days, I received a message on WhatsApp that I would have never expected. And it changed everything.
So that old man of yours just kicked the bucket. His funeral is tomorrow, so make sure you go.
No, I will not be going, and you can't make me.
I thought you might have bought me by now, but I tried my luck anyway. Imagine my surprise.
Don't get too excited. I had a bit of a change of heart and only unblocked you recently.
Then you better come to the funeral, you cold-blooded wench.
That's rich to hear from you of all people.
I can't believe you're not even a little shocked to hear about your former husband's death. That's a bit too cold to even ask his ex. At least pretend you cared.
I already knew he was dead, so it wasn't news to me.
Huh? Who did you hear that from?
From him. By the way, he finally contacted me and I spoke directly to him.
He did? Why didn't I know about this?
It was end-stage cancer, wasn't it? After that, I visited him in the hospital several times, so I was the first to know he passed.
That jerk. Why didn't he say anything to me?
Rather, I'm surprised that you didn't notice anything at all. Shouldn't you have known?
Well, I was a busy woman doing all sorts of things.
Even though I was visiting him once a week, I wasn't exactly being sneaky. You didn't care whether or not I'd run into you. Surely you saw signs that someone else was visiting him.
You see, my schedule was so full of all the rich people I had to hang around with, I didn't have time to see him. He had his nurses, right? I was letting them do their job of taking care of him. It's what they're paid to do. What good is it for me to mope around there?
That man was on his deathbed with no one to support him. He was wasting away and dying a miserable death.
And? Listen, as someone who was going to outlive him, I had myself to worry about here. He was gonna die sooner rather than later. In the meantime, I had to make a number of preparations for my new life without him.
Which were?
I had to have another man lined up for me, of course. I can't be left on my own.
My husband was the CEO. You should have more than enough savings to support yourself without doing that. Isn't it a little early to be looking for your next lover?
What are you trying to say here? Spit it out.
I'm asking if you've been cheating on him.
I wasn't.
Really? Because he had his suspicions.
I see he was caught up in some feverish delusions of his. He was sick as a dog, and it was thoroughly rotting his brain. Still, how awful of him to think that of me without any proof.
There is proof, though.
Excuse me?
You've been spotted bringing a number of different men home.
Where did you hear that from?
From the maid.
Aw, darn! I guess I was caught red-handed. Not that it matters. Your ex is dead anyway.
Don't shrug it off like it's no big deal.
I mean, I was busted. No point in lying anymore. It's a total pain in the butt anyway.
You stole him from me, so at least make the effort to love him as much as I did.
You're awfully sympathetic toward him despite the fact he was your ex-husband. Don't tell me you still loved him.
I did resent him for what he did to my son and me. But I didn't want him to die like that. I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. It's too cruel.
Then at least show your face at the funeral.
Your relatives are going to be there. How can I go to my ex-husband's funeral when they'll be going too? Just tell me where his grave is later.
So in other words, you're an impoverished mother who can't even afford to bring a nice bouquet of flowers to a funeral.
Will you stop making a fool of me?
I'm just telling it how it is.
I'm not sure where you're getting this idea that we live in poverty. But for your information, we don't. We're getting by just fine.
You do realize that you won't be receiving child support from a dead man anymore, right?
I do.
And? That's it?
What? Were you expecting something more?
You should be a bit more flustered, no? You're too calm, and it's getting on my nerves.
There's no need for me to be.
Aw, but I thought you were gonna cry like a little baby and beg me for money. I would have loved to see that. How boring.
That man was the only reason we ever began contacting one another. Now that he's gone, how about we agree to never speak to each other again once and for all?
I thought you'd never ask. I went through the trouble of stealing away that filthy rich husband of yours. Yet I forgot to file a life insurance claim. This is all your fault.
What in the world are you babbling about now after all these years?
Because of you, I suffered a major loss. You better take responsibility and pay up.
It's been 3 years since he died. Don't you remember?
Figuring out the inheritance process was enough of a handful on its own without adding life insurance on top of it. I got confused and didn't understand it.
Blaming it on me isn't gonna fix anything.
You got his house, right? Hand it over!
I can't. I've already sold it.
How wonderful! That's one less thing for me to do. Then you got money from selling it, right?
I do, but I have no intention of giving it to you.
Why not, you cheapskate?
You have his inheritance. What do you need more money for? You got a new wallet and married him 2 years ago, didn't you?
We divorced. I haven't been able to find a new boyfriend, so I am a little strapped for cash.
Sad.
So give me back my money!
I never borrowed any from you in the first place.
You got it from him, didn't you? Your child support payments and alimony? Don't play dumb. His money is my money, and I'm demanding you give it back to me.
I have no reason to.
Listen, if I stay broke like this, I might not make it through in the next month.
You've sure changed your tune over the years. How did you end up this way?
The inheritance came in, and with a new boyfriend who was generous with his spending habits, I admit I became a little overzealous with my own spending.
How stupid. Actually, I don't care. I'm sick of listening to you, and I've had it. I'll be blocking you, so goodbye.
Just hold on a second. If this is the last time we're gonna talk, then at least hear me out.
Well, I'm busy, so don't waste my time. Make it quick.
After I broke up with my boyfriend, I had trouble paying off my credit card. So I got revolving credit. But for some reason, my card has been suspended.
Oh, revolving credit, huh?
Do you know why?
I'm actually surprised that you don't.
If you know, then do something about it. Tell me what to do.
Did you call your credit card company?
I did. And I'm paying $1,000 a month already. But they want me to pay even more for some reason. I don't get it at all.
That means you're in so much debt that you can no longer use your card.
What debt are you talking about? I was told that as long as I pay $1,000 a month, I can buy as much as I want. That's the whole reason I went with revolving credit in the first place.
How about you look up about the dangers of a revolving credit line? If you're talking to me, then you must have a phone, right? You can use a phone for things other than to annoy a single mother.
Don't get cheeky with me. You explain it.
I don't really want to. It's going to take forever if I try to explain it to you.
I don't care. Stop complaining and just do it.
A revolving credit line is a loan. In other words, you're now up to your neck in debt.
Isn't revolving credit an installment payment plan?
Revolving credit is a loan from your credit card company. You understand that a loan equals debt, right?
Yes, I do.
I'm so glad we have that cleared up. Do your best to pay all that off then.
What? That's it? I was expecting more, like a way to get out of it or something.
Not that I can think of, no.
You know, in the first place, if you had just reminded me about the whole life insurance thing, I wouldn't be in this situation. Everything would be fine.
Oh yeah, I received the life insurance payout. Thank you very much.
What?
It was my name that was still on the papers, so I got to have it.
So it really is your fault.
I received that money through due process. I didn't do anything underhanded.
Thief! That was my money! I'll sue you to hell.
Go ahead. I won't mind. You'll almost certainly lose, but you can try your luck anyway.
Ugh. I can't believe I don't even have the money to sue you to begin with.
I'm sure you don't.
Do you know how much that man left behind in inheritance money? Because it wasn't as much as you'd think.
I only know how much living inheritance he gave to my son. I don't know about the rest of it.
Huh? What are you talking about?
He gave 3/4 of his fortune to our son.
Excuse me? What is the meaning of this? That's news to me.
He said it was his final act of revenge against you.
What are you talking about? I'm sure you guys played him for a sucker just like I did so you could make off with his fortune.
Don't you see? This was how much he resented you. Please be self-aware for once.
I can't believe this. He told me he'd rather have a young maiden over a haggard old woman like you. That's the whole reason I married him. I was doing him a favor, and this is how he thanks me?
He regretted his actions. While I sat next to him on his deathbed, he apologized over and over again to us.
If I knew things would have turned out this way, I would have visited him in the hospital.
You can reflect on your actions all you'd like, but it won't fix anything. It's too late.
Give it back. I'm telling you to give me back his money.
This money belongs to my son, so I can't let you have it.
If I could get my hands on that money, I could turn my life back around. I could fix everything.
Seeing you flustered and groveling for mercy is cathartic. It soothes my aching heart. After all these years, you're getting your comeuppance. I'm sure my husband is smiling down on us from heaven right now.
If you're feeling relieved or whatever, then at least spare me some cash. Anything.
No way. I'm blocking you. Good riddance.
Stop! I'm begging you. Please let me borrow some money. I'll do anything.
I'm glad that after all these years, my husband could have his revenge. I'll be visiting his grave soon, so I'll be sure to tell him the good news. I blocked Fiona just as I said, so I have no idea what happened to her. I don't particularly care to know either. We also moved after we'd sold the house, so she doesn't know where we currently live. She won't be bothering us anytime soon. I'm sure we'll never see each other again. My son, who was 3 years old at the start of these events, is now 8. He's been working hard at learning his times tables and impressing his teachers. Watching him learn and grow is what keeps me going every day. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.